Hello, my name is Ankan Shah, and I am representing Team Binary Brains for this year's Smart India Hackathon. Now, the problem statement that we have chosen for this year's SH is very simple. It is that we have created basically a learning app for those deaf and mute people. Now, what are we doing basically in this app? We are using machine learning to convert sign language into speech and in text. Now, without any further ado, I'm gonna get straight into the code, which obviously that's what we all want to see. So let's jump straight into the code. So this is our code. Our code basically has four main files. First, the collect.py file collects the data from the existing data set. Now, you can see that there are 26 classes here, and those 26 classes are for the 26 letters of the alphabet. Now, we are taking in 300 pictures for every single alphabet for better accuracy. Now, to understand why we are collecting the data, we have to move on to the next file, that is the create underscore dat.py file. Now, the images which are being taken in folder wise are now being landmarked according to the landmark points of the finger. To understand why we are collecting the data, we have to now move on to the next file, which is the create underscore dat.py file. Now, what is this file doing? Well, if I have to explain it in the most basic sense, this file is taking in the images which were collected, and this file is now processing it. Now, these files are being processed using the MediaPipe library. How? Basically, these files, these images are now being scanned for the landmark points of our fingers. Our fingers have landmark points, and those landmark points are now in the picture which you are seeing right now. Now, we are using the pickle library. I'm just going to show you that. We are using the pickle library to basically take those files, to take those files and basically and smush it all together into one single file. Why are we doing that? We're doing that so that it's easier for us to read the data set. Now, without any further ado, let's now move on to the next file so that it's easier for me to explain. The next file is the train.py file. What does this do? And now this is the most interesting file of all, because now we are actually going to get to the main ML model. Now, what we are doing here is taking in the files which were already collected and which were smushed into one file using the pickle library. We are basically using the data.pickle file to map the parameters. What are those parameters? They are the landmarks I told you about. Now they are using the landmarks you as parameters to basically train the ML model. Now, to do this simultaneously, now just for starters, let me just tell you that the landmarks have two coordinates, the x coordinate and the y coordinate. Now, to do it properly and to do it simultaneously, to map both the coordinates simultaneously, we are using these. We are using the x train, the x test, the y train, and the y test files. Now, to do this and to test it for accuracy, we are using the CNN model. What is CNN? CNN is the convolutional neural network of the Python library. What does it do and how does it work? It basically, let me quickly explain to you what an image is. Every image has multiple layers. Now, every layer represents new information in that image. CNN is an amazing library. Now, with the help of the data that was already collected and smushed together into one file using the data.pickle, what we are now doing is training the ML model. And this is the most interesting part of the whole code. How are we doing it? Well, remember I told you about the landmark points of our fingers, how our fingers have landmark points. Now, this code, these lines of code are using those landmark points as parameters to run itself and to train themselves. Now, to do that, we are using the CNN model. What is the CNN model, you might ask? The full form of CNN model is the convolutional neural networks. What is it? Well, to explain it, I'll first need to explain what an image is, how an image works. Well, an image has multiple layers. Whenever we click a certain image, that image instantly gets multiple layers. Now, those layers usually have different sets of information. How the CNN library works is that it basically takes in that first layer of the image. Why? Think about it like this. You place your hands in front of the camera, right? Now you have several things in your background which might be coming into the picture. The CNN library basically objects all of that and only takes in your hands because they are the first layer of the image. And that is how our model has almost 99% accuracy. এটা বলে অসুবিধা আছে? Now, you can see the full code here that we have built. And this code all then to run CNN, we are also using the TensorFlow library of Python, which is a great library, obviously. Now, after all of this, you can, of course, see the code here. I have already explained it. After all of this, the model gets saved. And then we move on to the next part. That is the compilation part. Now, to compile, we are training it with 1,000 epochs. What are epochs? Epochs are nothing but the number of passes through which our algo is going through. Without any further ado, I'll just get straight onto the practicals. That is, I'm just going to show you directly how it works. Let's run this code. Sorry. There you go. This is basically your frame. This is where we are taking in the inputs for your recognition. I'm sorry, it's just recognizing my face as an input. I'm sorry. Let's just get straight to it. This is A. There you go. This is B. This is C. And finally, this is D. And that is how our model works. I'm going to show you the numbers. Let's get on to it. Let's get on with it. Now, this is the code for the numbers part, which I already told you about. Now, again, as I said, it's pretty much the same thing, but there are some changes which you can already see. Now, let's just run the code and see how it works. Again, this is my face and this is the frame. This is the frame with which we are taking in the inputs. Let's give it some inputs and see how it reacts. That's 2. That's 3. 4. 5. Now, you have 6. You have 7. You have 8. You have 9. And then you have 0. And there you have the model. Now, before we move on to the main app, that is the code of the app and the main UI, let's just understand the workflow of the app. Now, this is a simple chart to demonstrate the workflow of the app. So let's just dive in and understand how the app works. So first of all, if you are a student or an HR or a parent or an educator, doesn't matter who you are, you first have to go through a login or a sign up page. Now, if you are a student, first you'll be taken to the front end of the app that for you includes math and science modules. You'll be able to learn alphabets and numbers, and that is it. If you are an HR, then you'll be able to track your progress. And if you are a student, then you have one more thing. That is, you'll be able to convert your text or your speech to sign language and vice versa. Now, once all of this is done, the data that is collected via the front end comes to the back end. Now, what happens there? Now, once the authentication of the user is done, the data that is collected is processed. Now, the data I'm talking about is the data from the speech, from the sign language that is processed with the help of the pre-existing data. Fetched results are pushed again to the front end. Now, if we take a look at what is the power that is
behind this app? We have to look here, the machine learning part of the app. Now, for machine learning, we have used Python, TensorFlow, and MediaPipe. Now, for model training, uh, our model uses sign language recognition and MediaPipe hand tracking and TensorFlow processing. Here you can see the whole, flow chart. Been shown to you the code which is helping it do this. It's just a simple flow chart of it. And then the data that is processed here comes here, and then you already know what happens. So, well, this was just a basic workflow of the app. We'll be soon seeing what the app looks like and what the core of the app is. So, without any further ado, let's just move on to that.
This is the code for our app. Now, this is written in a very simple Flutter. Now, as we all know, Flutter is a very simple language to master, and that is the reason we have chosen Flutter for the creation of this app. This is the dashboard for the app, and you can see these are the cards for each and every section of the dashboard. Here you have the login page. Again, very simple language, very easy to understand. Here you have the login page by which we are welcoming our existing users. You can already see that. And then we will be moving on to the profile .dart page, which basically handles the profile section. So if you are already an existing user, you already have a profile on our app, and every profile is different. And this is the code which allows every profile to be different. You can already see it here. This is a section page, nothing really interesting here, and then we move on to the setting page. Now, this is really interesting because each and every setting of the app has to be different, and this is the code which allows each and every setting for the app to be different. Here is a sign in page, which basically lets you sign into the app if you are already an existing user. Sorry, if you are a new user, then this code allows you to sign into the app, and then you have the splash page. The splash page is the basically the opening animation for our app. The opening animation, as we will be seeing very soon in the UI, this is the code which allows it to do it. And then we have the video player, because as we all know, this is an educational app, so there will have to be a video player. This is the code which allows it to do that. Then we have the main then we have the main part of the code, which basically calls every file and basically allows the code to run. Now, without any further ado, let's get straight onto the app. Now, here is our app, and this is the splash page, as I already have explained you. Now, this here is the login page, as you can see. Now, if you are a pre-existing user, you have to log in from here. You have to enter your email and your password. If you are not, then you will be taken to the sign up page, right? Now, what do you have to do to sign up? You have to give your full name, your phone number, your email, and your password. Now, once you give your phone number, your email, your password, and your name, it will be saved on an external server. Now, at the moment, we don't have an external server, so it's being stored locally. So once the credentials are entered, app will take it in. Then we put those same credentials in again for the login page. And once it is done, we'll be able to see what is inside the app. So let's not waste any more time and let's get straight on. Now, as you can see, we have logged into the app. This is the dashboard section. Here is where you come first when you come into the app. Now, you can see here, these are the widgets. You have the learning section, the assignments, the writing practice, the progress, the conversation section. If you look at the top left section, you will see a small menu. That menu stands for the profile section. This profile section contains everything that you have given to this app. That contains your name, your email ID, your phone number, and your account settings. Yes, any setting that you do with your account is also saved here. Also, you can log out of this app through here. Now, if we go back again and if we look at the top right section, you will see the settings page. What is in the settings page? Here, you can make changes with your account. You can, make changes with the notifications. Like, for example, if you want the app to send you notifications, then of course you can do that here because, again, because it's a learning app, people will want notifications to be sent to their phone because of to track their progress and whatnot. So you can do that here. Then you have the privacy for policy. Of course, we have not fixed that yet, so there's nothing there. Then you have the language. You can change your language to your local languages, or you can keep it in English. And then you have the about section of the app. Again, nothing there at the moment because we have not changed it. Now, if we go back to the dashboard section again, and if we take a good look at the widgets, you will see that these are the things. Like for example, if you go to learning, what you will see is a video player. Now, what is this video player? This video player allows you to look at the courses. Now, once this app is launched, we will be putting up courses on this app. Those courses will be accessible via the video player, by which people will be able to see those courses. Then, if we go back again and we go to assignment section again, there is nothing there because there is nothing on the back end at the moment. Now, the same is the case with each and every single one of the widgets, and that is it. This is the UI for our app, and that will be all. On behalf of Binary Brains, I thank you all for this opportunity. I thank you for taking the time to listen to me and listening and looking at this presentation. We hope we get selected, and thank you so much. Bye bye.